Welcome to another episode, Her Take by Laila Jean Yu says. I'm your host, Laila, and today we're getting to something that is very close to my heart, and I want to be upfront about that from the jump. This is not just pop culture episode. This is not just a movie. This is a conversation about legacy, about what it means to lose someone who represents something bigger than themselves, and about the way this industry, this world treats Black excellence while it is alive versus after it's gone. Today we're talking about Chadwick Boseman, and we're talking about Black Panther, and we're talking about what both of them meant, and it still mean to the Black community. Specifically to Black men and Black boys who finally got to see themselves as kings on the biggest screen in the world. So let's get into it. Let me take you back to 2018. Black Panther hits theaters, and something happens that nobody in Hollywood fully anticipated. Black people show up, and they do not mean they show up to buy tickets. I mean they show up. People wore traditional African attire to the theater. Dashikis, kente cloth, head wraps, crowns. People celebrate going to see this movie the way you celebrate a wedding or a coronation, because that is exactly what it felt like. And I need you to understand why. Because before Black Panther, there had never been a mainstream superhero at that scale. Not like this. Not with this budget, this cast, this director, this vision. Not with an entire fictional African nation that was powerful and advanced and uncolonized. Not with a king who was brilliant and strong, emotionally complex, and looked like us. For Black children, especially Black boys, this was everything. Think about what it means to grow up only ever seeing yourself as a sidekick, the comic relief, the one who dies first, the one who sacrificed himself for the white hero. Think about what it does to a child's imagination when every superhero, every savior, every symbol of strength and power looks nothing like them. And then T'Challa walks onto the screen and everything changes. Black boys did not have to imagine themselves into a white superhero anymore. The superhero looked like them, talked like them, led like them, loved like them, was a king like them. That is not just representation. That is declaration. We exist. We are powerful. We are royal. And we have always been. Now let's talk about the man himself, because Chadwick Boseman was so much more than T'Challa. And I think sometimes the magnitude of Black Panther overshadows just how extraordinary his body of work was. This man made a career playing Black icons and did not just play them, he became them. 2013, he played Jackie Robinson in 42, the first Black player in Major League Baseball, a man who had to absorb hatred and violence and degradation every single day and respond with excellence. Chadwick brought that dignity to life in a way that was breathtaking. In 2014, he played James Brown in Get On Up, also known as a godfather of soul. And let me tell you something about that performance. That performance was the most transformative performance I have ever seen in my life. James Brown is one of the most complex, electric, difficult human beings who have ever lived. And Chadwick disappeared into that role completely. The movement, the voice, the pain beneath the showmanship, the hunger, the genius, everything he gave us, everything in that performance. In 2017, he played Thurgood Marshall in Marshall, the first Black Supreme Court justice, a man who fought for justice in a system that was designed to deny it to him. Do you see the pattern? Jackie Robinson, James Brown, Thurgood Marshall, T'Challa. This was not choosing roles randomly. He was deliberately choosing to tell the stories of Black greatness, Black resilience, Black excellence. He was a keeper of Black history and Black legacy, and he took the responsibility seriously. And off screen, he carried himself with the same graceness. His Howard University commencement speech is one of the most powerful things I have ever heard. He told those graduates that purpose is the most important thing, not the degree, not the career, not the money, not the purpose. He said, your setbacks are not your mistakes. They are setups for your purpose. That is not a commencement speech. That is life philosophy, and he lived it. Now, I need to talk about something that takes my breath away when I think about it, because this is a part of Chadwick Boseman's story that reveals who really was at his core. In 2016, Chadwick Boseman was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer, and he told almost nobody. He filmed Black Panther while undergoing chemotherapy. He filmed Avengers Infinity War Endgame while undergoing chemotherapy. He filmed Da 5 Bloods and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom while undergoing chemotherapy and surgeries. He showed up to every set, every press tour, every public appearance, every interview, and he showed up as a king, as T'Challa, as a symbol of Black excellence that the world needed to be while he was fighting for his life. Can you imagine what that took? Can you imagine the physical, emotional strength required to show up at that level while your body's being ravaged by cancer and chemotherapy, while you're losing weight and losing strength and in pain? He gave us his absolute best while going through his absolute worst. And I want to sit with that for a moment because there's something in this that speaks to the pressure of Black men carry. The pressure to never show weakness, to always be strong, to always show up, to protect everyone around you even when you are the one who needs protecting. Chadwick Boseman embodied that in the most profound and painful way. He protected his privacy. He protected his family. He protected his peace. And he kept giving to his community even while he was suffering. That is not strength. That is sacrifice. That is love. On August 28, 2020, Chadwick Boseman passed away at 43 years old after battling 4 years of colon cancer, and the world just stopped. The grief that swept through the Black community was unlike anything I have ever seen online. People were devastated in a way that felt personal, and it was personal because we did not just lose an actor. We lost a symbol, we lost a protector, we lost a representation of what Black excellence looked like when it was given the space to be fully itself. I remember that day like it was yesterday because I was laying in bed and I saw on Instagram that he passed away. At first, when I saw it, I did not believe it at all. Until this day, I still don't believe this man is gone, because his time on this earth was not done yet. I feel as though that everything that he has done with his community and the work that he's done in cinema was not done. It was beginning to get real. But let's get back to what I was saying. And the shock was multiplied because nobody knew he was sick. We had watched him on the screen for 4 years as this powerful, invisible king, and we had no idea that every single day he was fighting for his life behind the scenes. I also want you to notice the date, August 28th, 2020. Chadwick Boseman died on the 50th anniversary of the march in Washington, the same day Martin Luther King gave I Have a Dream speech. That was not a loss on people. There's something deeply poetic and deeply painful about that. A man who spent his career honoring Black history and Black legacy left this earth on one of the most significant days in Black history. The collective grief we felt was real, and it was valid. When you lose someone who represents your dignity and your possibility, the loss belongs to everyone. Now, I need to get into something that really bothers me because this is a conversation that connects everything we have been talking about. Get on up. His portrayal of James Brown was extraordinary, transformative, one of the most greatest performances I have ever seen from any actor of any race at any point in time. The Academy looked away. 42, Marshall looked away. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, his final performance, a performance that who have dedicated their lives to studying film, said was one of the greatest they had ever seen. He was nominated for an Oscar and he did not win. The Academy gave the award to Anthony Hopkins for The Father, and Anthony Hopkins was not even present at the ceremony. The room went silent. The entire world watching went silent because everyone knew what had just happened. The Academy had just chosen a living white actor over a dead Black man whose final performance was a masterpiece. And the man they chose did not even show up to accept it. And I want to talk about Angela Bassett because she deserves to be in this conversation. What's love got to do with it? Her portrayal of Tina Turner is one of the greatest performances of any actress in the history of cinema. She did not win. Wakanda Forever, she was nominated and she did not win. The Academy has a long documented history of overlooking Black excellence, of deciding before the performance even begins how much it is worth, of setting a higher bar for Black artists and then moving the bar when they cleared it. And here is what really gets me. Here's the part that I cannot let go of. The moment these artists die, suddenly the tributes flood in. Suddenly the retrospective appear. Suddenly everyone is talking about what a legend they are, what a genius, what a loss. The recognition that should have come while they are alive to receive it. While they could stand on stage and hold that award and give the speech and feel the validation. Arise only after they are gone. Chadwick Boseman deserved to hold an Oscar. He deserves to give that speech. He deserved to feel the recognition while he was here, while he was fighting for his life and showing up and giving everything he had to his craft and to his community. Instead, the world waited until he was gone and then decided he was worthy. That is not celebration. That is guilt dressed up as grace. You do not get to call someone a king after you spent their entire career treating their excellence like it was less than. You do not get the flood social media with tributes and retrospective for someone you spent years overlooking. And I want to say this as clear as possible I can. Black performers are not seen as artists first. They are seen through a racial lens that decides before the performance even begins how much their excellence is worth. A lens that says your talent is impressive, but you will never fully belong in the space where talent is truly celebrated. That lens has cost us a recognition of some of the greatest performance in the history of film, and it cost Chadwick Boseman the Oscar he deserved. But here is what I want to end on. Because this conversation is not just about what was taken from him, it is about what he left behind. And what he left behind is immense. The Chadwick Boseman College of Fine Arts of Howard University, his legacy literally lives in the next generation of Black artists who will train and grow and create in the space that bears his name. Wakanda Forever, the film Ryan Coogler made to process the grief of losing him. That film is a love letter. It is a mourning ritual. It is a community coming together to say, we see you, we honor you, we carry you forward. T'Challa lives on in every Black child who ever wore the costume, in every little Black boy who said Wakanda Forever with his arms crossed and felt like a king for the first time, in every Black man who watched that movie and sat up a little straighter and remember that royalty is in his blood. Chadwick Boseman showed men that strength is not just physical, showing up with grace and purpose when you are suffering. It is protecting the people you love when you are the one who needs protecting. It is using your platform to tell the stories that need to be told, even when the industry is not ready to honor you for it. He showed Black boys that they are worthy of being the hero of their own story, not the sidekick, not the sacrifice, the hero, the king. And that message, that truth cannot be taken away, not by the academy, not by the industry, not by death, because you can take the man, but you cannot take what he planted in the hearts of every Black child who saw themselves in T'Challa for the first time and really believed that they were royal. Wakanda Forever is not just a phrase, it is a promise that what he built, what he represents, will never die. His legacy is not in the Oscar he never received. It is in every Black man who walked a little taller because of him, in every Black boy who believed for the first time that he could be a king, and every Black artist who was inspired to tell the stories of Black greatness because he showed them how. That is the legacy of Chadwick Boseman, and that is her take by Laila. Thank you for listening. If this episode moved you, and I have a feeling it did, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave us a comment. Follow her take on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads. And I will see you next time. Peace.